Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, LinkedIn. Hello, Facebook, and hello, YouTube. My name is Linda Murray Bullock. They call me the business plug. And this evening, I'm come to invite you to lean into a conversation about youth success strategies. That's what we're talking about today. And before I introduce her or allow her to introduce herself, I want to tell you about two things. So, housekeeping. So I need to tell you about if you would like to sample. We're going into week 7. It's been 7 weeks that we've been doing the building your own business 12-week course. We're at week 7. If you would like to sample the class to see if you want to be in the next cohort, then please inbox me, DM me, wherever you're seeing me. Please go ahead and inbox me. Let me know you want to be in, and I can make sure you get the link. Second to that, if you are interested in getting certified, we're in a brand new grant season. And so grants are being given out. I've dropped a $450,000 grant on my page. I've talked to a business about $110,000 grant. You need to be certified. Like, I have people I want to work with. I can't work with you if you don't have a UEI. If you're not registered in SAM, you need to get that done. Like, there are so many things you need to do to get certified. So contact me, DM me if you want to get certified, get your business certified, get you out there for minorities, women, disabled, and veterans. If you're any of those, if you can check any of those boxes, you need to contact me. Let's talk about getting your business certified so you can get some of this money. We're in this new grant season. With all that done, I've done my housekeeping. I'd like to welcome my guest. Hey there, Tonda. How are you?
Just fine, thanks. How are you, Linda?
I am doing wonderful. I am doing wonderful. So tell them, who is Tonda T. Bean?
I am a, a mother, a Girl Scout leader, a former Girl Scout leader, but most of all, I am a career exploration guide for students.
I love that.
A lot of kids come out of school and don't know what they want to do. And if you go to college without knowing what you want to do, it's like going to the grocery store without a list.
Yeah.
But it's a real expensive grocery store.
It is the most expensive grocery store for a young person, right?
Right. And when you go in without a list, without knowing what you want out of it, you come out with things you didn't think you needed, and you may not come out with the things you really did need.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
figure this thing out before you go into college
I
and
know it.
get what you need out of college.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so I've put your website and your email address in the discussion for this video. So wherever they are in the United States, they can definitely link up with you. What I thought about is I thought about when you and I were talking before, and this is COVID brain memory, so it may or may not be true. But what I think we talked about is we talked about some of those kids who age out of foster care.
Hmm.
Did we talk about
And
them?
not as much, but
Okay.
I'm what I do is it's relevant to everybody pretty much. I'm really focused in on kids who are college bound because they know they need it.
Mm-hmm.
But who doesn't need to know what they need?
Exactly.
Who
That
doesn't need
part.
to know that?
That part. Because we talked about kids making decisions. And today, what poured in my spirit was, parents with teens who are not doing their best right now, like they know their kid has more potential in them, but their kids are having problems finding their way, like 15, 16, 17 year olds
Yes,
who seem to be non-directional right now.
right.
I did a post earlier and said, I remember what that was like. Like, one of my boys, I was ready to commit murder. I really was.
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
ready to go ahead and take his head right off the shoulders and go ahead and do my time. Like, that would have been a reprieve for me. But it was him trying to find his way and me not having the instruction book to help him in the best way that was best for him. Eventually we got there, but boy, oh boy, it was some times between how that started and how it ended.
Right.
There were
And
times.
that's why I work with families.
Yeah.
Schools don't really work with families. I work with
Yeah.
families because you need to, when it's all said and done, you know who's going to buy you that interview suit?
Mm.
It's mom and daddy. It's
Absolutely.
not anybody at that school. And who's going to help you when you went and had an interview and at 9 at night you say, "Oh, I was supposed to do a thank you email.
Uh-uh.
What should I say?" Who's going to help you? It's not
Exactly.
anybody at school. It's mom and daddy. So why don't you just bring in mom and daddy in the first place? Okay, let them
Exactly.
know what's going on. Let everybody work together as a team, because that's
Exactly.
really what you need. You need a team.
You need a team. And that's what I told my boys. I was like, okay, your job is to decide what you want to do in life. And my job is to support you to get there.
Yes,
And so we can't
exactly.
deviate from the plan.
Right,
Because
right.
I had one ask for a gap year. And I was like, no, honey, we're not gapping.
Mm-mm,
We're not gap
mm-mm.
yearing. We're not doing that. We're trying to get you to grow. That's the goal.
Right.
We got to get
Yes.
you to be
Get
self
all the way grown. That's the idea.
all the way
All the way
grown.
grown, out on your own.
Yeah,
You got to
self-sufficient.
get going.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Exactly.
So people, so young people in high school now, like when is the best time? I'm gonna ask you now, I already know the answer, but when is the best time for a parent to start helping their children find clarity in their careers?
Well, the best time is before the children even think about it. The best time is to get them started even in elementary school.
Mm,
Start them uh, honing some skills. There's some kids who are really good at math. There's some kids who are really good at mechanics. They're good with their hands. There's some kids who are really artistic. If you can start them really understanding their gifts a little bit in elementary school, sending them to those special summer programs and weekend programs and finding interesting things for them to do, then they'll say, "Oh, well, I'm good at this and I'm good at that." And then by middle school, you start them actually kind of going to career focused things.
yeah.
Not heavy duty, but just here, go look.
Introduction. Yeah, introduction.
Introductory.
Absolutely.
Introductory. So are you interested in law enforcement? Is there a law enforcement camp? Okay, go off to that. If you're interested, and if you go off to the law enforcement camp and you can't stand it, that's fine. Because we
It's
didn't pay any college tuition trying to get you to understand what you that you didn't like that. Okay,
majorly.
that's fine. That's fine, baby. Oh, we sent you to culinary camp, and you said, "I don't like chopping things." Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's fine. We will not send you off to culinary college. Okay, that's great. So you start them sampling, and if you can start early enough, they can have a clue about what they want out of high school,
Exactly.
and high school can set them up for whatever post high school education they need. I tell kids it's kind of like transportation, and college is like going to the airport. It's great. Not everybody needs to go to the airport.
No.
If you're trying to go one city over, probably the airport is not where you need to go. Come
Exactly.
on. The airport might be further than the next city over. So
Exactly.
so you decide where you want to go. And
Absolutely.
that's the piece that people don't tell kids young enough. They kind of ask, a lot of kids get asked, "What do you think you want to do, little Johnny?" And you say, "Oh, Johnny says, let me see, I know about doctors, lawyers, teachers, and preachers. I want to be a doctor." And everybody goes, "That's great. That's great." And so Johnny thinks he's supposed to go be a doctor. Did Johnny did Johnny know anything about medicine? Did you really you know
Exactly.
it's bloody? It can be kind of bloody,
Exactly.
people are grumpy. They're grumpy when they walk in because they don't feel well. You know that, figure
Exactly.
it out.
Johnny
Go,
really meant to be Mickey Mouse. He wanted to be,
something.
he wanted to grow up to be
You
Mickey.
could be something else. But you start looking, start trying, start
Yeah.
tasting things, and then you figure out, oh, and if you really do think you want to be a doctor, then in high school you need to take AP chemistry, you need to take AP biology, you need to see if there's any way for you to get an anatomy class, you need to see can you
Mm,
get into calculus in high school.
I know
So it
it.
would help if you had figured that out in
Before
high
you
school,
yeah,
or
before you got there.
a little minute before high school, because some high schools have special programs and some don't. Some high schools will let you choose, some places will let you choose your high school, and some say everybody's going to this one, but you still get to choose which courses you take. Whether
And
you're
I
in
like
the
this.
high
Yeah.
school selection or whatever, you get to choose the courses.
And
So
they come out with degrees now. They come out with associates.
you can
Like they're
come
gonna
out
do
with
that
an
dual
associate,
enrollment.
but
Yeah.
that also needs to have something to do with where you're going. That's even more commitment that, oh, I'm going to get an associate's. But if you're going to go and be a J, you don't need an associate in D.
Yeah.
What are those
I
related?
know. No. Yeah.
And
And so
even
figuring that
even
out.
after that, you need to understand where you want to go to college, because not every college accepts credits from every community college.
Mm.
They don't talk to each other that much.
Mm.
So it's a matter of taking a long view, kind of playing a long game. What do I want to do when I finish college? Which colleges are going to help me with that? And is there something I can do in high school to set myself up for success?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Would you agree that exposing our young people to as many different careers as possible is necessary in helping them to be the best they can be?
Well, I think um, maybe not as many as possible, but if you can get to your your basic strength, then it's as many in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
so it's like you go into Macy's, you need some clothes.
Mm-hmm.
You need some clothes. What kind of clothes do you need, honey? You need shirts? We're going to go to the shirt department. And
Mm.
then go to all the different shirts. Because if you want a shirt with a collar, you know, then you need to know that. I want a shirt with a collar. Do you want the shirt with the cool sleeve, with the cold shoulders? What kind of shirt do you want? Okay. So we can, once you decide it's a shirt,
Yeah.
then we can go and start looking at all the shirts. Now, if you don't know and you're going to go just everywhere in Macy's, you're going to go to this department store and you're going to go look at the shoes and look at the jewelry, look at the pants, look at the jackets. Oh, they have swimming suits over there. You see those swimsuits?
Yeah.
You're going to spend a whole lot of time and be confused. So could we
Absolutely.
just at least get to which department? Okay, let's feel around, look at what you got. What do you already have? What do you need to go with it? What's going to get you paid the way you want to get paid? What do they do in this area? Or do you want to move to the other coast? What are you going to do over there? What are you going to do? Just start looking
Yeah.
and get to where you have a range, but not everything, but
Yeah.
things in this range. I want to be somewhere in the healthcare field. Could you get
Mm.
that far? The healthcare field. You could be a doctor, you could be a therapist, you could be a psychiatrist, you could be a psychologist, you could be in pediatrics, you could be in geriatrics, but get into the healthcare field.
I like that. I was thinking we have a lot of groups, a lot of our millennials, God bless them. They take our kids to various college on the college tours. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking an opportunity would be all the kids who want to go doctor. This is a doctor tour.
Mm-hmm.
That would
Mm-hmm.
be wonderful, right? Because now we
Yes,
take them pretty
absolutely.
much to whoever will have them. But if you could
Absolutely.
take them, if your track is that, if your intent is being a doctor, or if your intent is being an engineer, or your intent is being a specific thing, then those tours look more like where you're planning to land.
Right. Right. And the once you decide, it gives you something to evaluate the schools on besides how fun it looks and whether your cousin went. My
Yeah.
cousin went and my cousin liked it. So
Yeah.
that's that's great, but what's your cousin's major? And did they do well? Could they find a job when they came out? Did your cousin find a job real easily? Did
Yeah.
you Are they in something that you want to be? Because if your cousin was in a Z and you want to be a A, it may not have anything to do with you.
Yeah, yeah.
This
And
is a
that's the
really
thing
good
because
state training school.
yeah, because and if you're going to get, looking at the people who went to that college, are they able to work in their fields? Because that's how you
Exactly.
make the college experience pay for itself, right? You have to
Right.
get something in that field. Like
Yes.
that's part of the good thing about it is once you decide where you're going, also decide what jobs does this make me qualified for?
Right. And you need to look at all that before you decide where you're going.
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you trying, are you going to need to get into medical school at the end of this degree? Do the
Mm,
people from that school that you're going to get accepted into medical school?
mm,
Does that school have an agreement with the medical school? Is there a medical school attached to that university?
yeah,
What
yeah.
what if you're really thinking about doctor, if you're really thinking about lawyer, if you're really thinking about, whatever, school principal, because school principals have graduate degrees. So how
Exactly.
are the how are the people doing who came through this school of education? Are they doing well? Are they qualified to teach in this state? Are they, advancing in their careers? What is that looking like? And if the answer is no, no, and no, then your answer should be no.
Absolutely. And that's what I looked at. So my younger boys went to a magnet school. They went to a Padaya education. And I liked that because for me, it was a different type of education experience.
Mhm.
And they took trips outside of the border. Like I'm always about travel. And so one got to spend 30 days in Canada, the other did a track through Europe. Like that was
Mhm.
appealing to me. And so knowing that I want them to be global students and learn, more than just what's around them. And so that education, that exposure, one works for TikTok, the other is a firefighter, but they're all three fluent in French at one point. So
Beautiful.
absolutely. So being able to use that lesson abroad was everything.
And that's part of why I like to work with the parents, because the parents look at the whole child.
Mm,
And if you want the child to be a citizen of the world and understand the world in a broader way than,
yeah.
you know, places that I can see right here, places that
Mm,
are right in my county, in my state, in my country, you want them to understand that there's a lot of the world that doesn't speak English.
exactly.
Then you need to make sure that you're building that in as they go. And the schools never will. They do some things, but you have to choose their school experience and you have to make sure that you're able to fund all this wonderful stuff. And you have to,
Absolutely.
the parent needs to just be in it to say, okay, I want you to learn certain things. And part of when I start training with kids, I start thinking about what do they need to know to operate as an adult the way they want to operate. And usually
Mm.
they need to learn to drive a car. They need to learn to cook something because they want to live alone. You need to learn to clean up
Yeah.
because you just cooked something. Okay. You need to learn about getting groceries. Guess what? You don't want to do that whole wandering aimlessly through the grocery aisle thing. You gotta there's some skills, and a lot of the skills that you need in everyday life, mom and daddy can teach you,
Yeah.
but they're not in the school system.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are, they may not have a driver's ed class.
Yeah.
Then you may not. So, but if and first aid, they don't teach first aid in school all the time. But guess what? At some point, you're probably going to cut yourself, and you need to know what
And
you're
your
going to
parents are
do.
unavailable. Ma, what have I
Right.
done?
You know, and if you have decided you're going far and wide and you cut yourself, mama's not going to be able to run over there and bind it up for you. You got to learn some things. And you just need to, the parents need to just be intentional about saying, okay, here are 17 things you need to learn. This summer we'll learn two.
Yeah.
Okay. And then next summer we'll learn two more and we can just go through it. Okay. And the parents have that continuity. Parents have them for 18, 20
Life.
years. You
Life.
know, they're
Life
there. They're
skills.
learning from you. You're able to tell them things. Financial management. That's not
Amen.
generally in the school either.
No, it's not.
You know, the whole nutrition thing. That's you talked about it once in eighth grade, but you're going to be eating every day. You need to look at it a little harder. So there are a lot of life skills that you need before you leave your mama's house, and you're going to get them from your mom and daddy. That's who's going to teach you. How changing light bulbs and basic car maintenance, and what all it has to happen to change the filter on your this, that, and the other. That's
Yeah,
stuff you need. It is education, but it's not academic education.
exactly.
So I really believe that we need to make sure our children are educated beyond academics.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It frightened me because I thought one of my 17-year-olds, I thought he knew more than he actually knew. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Because I asked him something as simple as addressing an envelope. Like he was like, but I've never done, and he had to send his car payments off, right?
Right.
But he knew how to go get a money order or to write a check, but he didn't know how to mail it off. And I was like, oh, well, let's back this up. And so
Hmm.
teaching, the simple things that come easily because we've been doing them forever, but our children aren't getting that in school. And so we have to start doing the supplemental education at home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a range of things that they don't learn in school. And if you think about it, you can incorporate it. They don't teach history is not as well taught as it used to be. And
Yeah,
African American history isn't
for
taught
sure.
much at all. And of course they're not going to hit your family history. So you got to tell them, well, grandmama started in this place and moved to that place. Now your grandpapa met her in this other place, and that's why we live in this place.
Yeah,
Whatever you gonna say, but they need to understand about what happened before they showed up and what
I
happened before you showed up.
absolutely. I'm a component. I actually went back to where my mother's original people were in Cameroon in Africa. And I
Mm,
brought my kids along as far as the education piece. It's like this is where we come from, understanding
mhm.
that, understanding our original people. But those conversations like that, we don't have them a lot about how do we get to here. And if we
Right.
don't share it, they won't get it, and it stops at us.
It does. I
So the
mean, it's
onus is
all
on parents.
it is. And we don't encourage parents as much as we could. We
Mm.
kind of act like, oh, you should have learned from your mom. You
Uh,
should have learned from your daddy. But we don't, encourage the mamas and daddies to sit down and tell
absolutely.
what happened. Tell how you got here. Tell how they got here. My family is we're from the United States. We
Mm.
when in 1808 when they banned slavery, when
Mm.
they banned importation of
Hmm.
slaves, we were here. We were all here. So the family goes back 200 years in the
Wow.
United States. We're American. We don't really need to claim somewhere else. I don't have another phone number. I don't have a phone number for anybody to come and get me from the airport. I just don't. So, so okay, but that's a thing to know. It's a
Yeah.
thing to know. We
Absolutely. I am a big genealogy person. I'm real big on genealogy because I know that for several centuries, like I wanted to know where did I get this drive I have that other people don't have? Like, why am I like I am? And it becomes because I've been coded. I've been coded to be who I am because of my
Mhm.
ancestors, my great grandparents came from slavery and actually owned property in New Orleans or outside of New Orleans in Kenner. And so learning their story, because all of those people who could have told me were deceased. So I had to do my own research to find out who was who. But once I learned who they were, that's why I own a business and own property because they own the business and they own property. And I'm like, okay, so that explains that. And so, but knowing that that has been a big part of my life, and actually just lit fire to say, okay, you need to carry the legacy. You need to do what you need to do to bring others on board. And so in that, sharing that. But another thing we talked about the other day was about entrepreneurship. Like, we buy the cash register and the money and the little refrigerator and the store and whatever, but we don't have conversations about entrepreneurship. What if our children are entrepreneurs?
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever that is.
Yeah. And well, the thing that I am very aware of is people set kids up in a way. They'll say
Mm.
either, you know, oh, you're going to work forever, you go get you a good job and you stay in it. Or they say, you're going to be an entrepreneur. And the kids say, I'll be an entrepreneur. And they don't know what all they're going to sell. What you going to sell, baby? What are you going to? So, could you look at that as the first job? And that's why I tell kids, people go, oh, well, you should just tell them how to be an entrepreneur. And I say, well, you need two things to be successful in business. You need some industry knowledge and you need some seed money.
Yeah.
And usually you get those two things from your first job. Okay. So if you can choose the job that's going to get you the knowledge that's going to let you become an entrepreneur, great.
Yeah.
Great. And I was working with one girl and I was coming into this after school program in high school. And these girls were like this. And I was like, oh, okay.
We know what that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they said, you're going to tell us about college. And we're not going to college. Okay. You're not going to college. Where are you going? That's the question. That's what I'm trying to help you figure out, where you are going, not where you're not. And college is a place to learn. And you can learn places other than college. You just need to go. You need to figure out what you want to learn. She said, well, I know what I need to know. I'm going to be a hairdresser. I said, that's fine. I think people are going to need hairdressers in the future. As long as people keep having hair, they probably need hairdressers. That's a good thing. She said, okay, what? She said, and then I said, well, baby, do you want to be a hairdresser or do you want to own a salon? And she said, oh, I want to own a salon.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, good. You're going to need to learn about business. She said, oh, you're sending me to college. No. No. The Small Business Administration will teach you how to run a business, but you need to know to go over there.
Yeah.
Okay. There are a lot of places you can learn about running a salon, but you need to know that that's what you're trying to learn. So that as you're doing your hairdressing, you're trying to pick up some extra information. Well, how are you stocking things? Well, how are you managing your inventory? Well, what are the agreements that you have with everybody who has a booth in your salon? Or does everybody work for you? There are a couple models to this thing. How are we going to, which model do I like better? Who are the suppliers in this area? How are they negotiating with the suppliers? There's all this stuff that you can learn if you know you're supposed to learn it.
Exactly. That reminded me of a story. I went to my high school, my former high school, and I was teaching the kids there. And she said, Miss Linda, I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to work at Burger King. My grandmother works there. My mom works there. I'm going to work there too. I said, well, sweetheart, have you ever considered owning a Burger King? That same expression you got. She was like, whoa, wait a minute. I said, that way you can hire your mom and your grandmom and a few nieces and nephews and an uncle that can't seem to find a job. You can hire all those people. I know you saw it. I know you saw the light bulb that go off when they're
bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. If you look at my logo, that's why that light bulb is there, because I am addicted to people finding out potential that they haven't considered. And so I know that's the feeling that you saw when you told her about owning a salon. I know it is, because people don't think, if they've not been exposed to that type of thinking, the kids don't know. They think I'm gonna follow the lot of my parents, not understanding they're at a perfect position where they get to choose. Back in my day, we didn't choose. We filled out 20 applications, and whoever called us, that's where we went.
Right.
Because we
But
had bills to pay and children to raise. And
yeah, yeah.
it
But if
wasn't
you
about
can
what I
think about
liked.
it early, you think about it early, you can, at least if you have to fill out those 20 applications, you'll fill them out in this area.
Yeah,
You
as
know?
opposed to this area.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It won't be just anybody. I'm trying to learn about hairdressing. So I'm going to just go about salons.
Exactly.
I'm not going over to the Burger King because I don't want to know
Exactly.
that. I want to know this.
Exactly. Exactly. It's
Mhm.
thinking on those lines, like getting to know in their youth. And then that way you are living intentionally.
Yes.
So many people are frustrated. I
Yes.
go to customer service and I see frustrated people. I'm thinking, why are you here? Like they're not holding you hostage. You can leave. You can find the job that's right for you. Don't let them hold you
Exactly.
hostage. But
Yeah.
they frown and they're balled up, and you ask them a question. You act like they make you feel like you've offended them.
Mhm.
And I'm
Maybe
like, you're just
that's
a poor job match. You could be somewhere
right.
happy.
Yes, exactly. And then that's the piece that I tell the kids. Look, there are two kinds of work you can do. You can work for payment, okay? You could work for enjoyment.
Mm,
Now, a lot of times people say, oh, people are going to tell you, what you need to do is get trained for a job that will pay you. And they're telling you to put your money in the payment. And then there's some people tell you, you should do work that you love. And the money will probably follow. Maybe.
probably.
They're telling you put your education in enjoyment. All right. Why not take a moment? Take a moment before you start and figure out where that overlap is.
That right there.
Where's the overlap? And put your education in the overlap space where there's the possibility of payment and enjoyment
Yeah.
together.
That's the sweet
Put your
spot.
education there in that sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot. Yeah.
And we figure out the sweet spot, and then you go over there and you will not be one of those grumpies. The grumpies. There's so many grumpies in the workforce. And you talk to grumpies on Sunday, and they're like, "Oh man, I have to go back in that place.
I hate
I
my
hate that
job.
place. Those people are so stupid." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, really?
Hey,
Are you having a good life if you really hate your
I
job?"
know it. I
Oh my
know it.
goodness.
I know
Mhm.
my son, I remember when I think he was in service or somewhere, and he went in Walmart. He was like, "Ma, those poor people, they make them stand up 8 hours a day to greet people, those elderly people. I feel so sorry for them." And I said, "Son, they apply for those positions. They can leave. They don't have to.
Mhm.
They choose those positions.
They
You fill
do.
out the application for that, and they understand I'm going to be standing at this door 8 hours a day." He's like,
Yeah.
"Well,
Agree with you.
darn."
Yeah.
They did. They applied for it. So but applying for the job where the overlap is, like you said, and that right there, it doesn't matter what you do in life, finding where that connection is, where you're able to make money and live a life of enjoyment and not hate your job every Sunday night. That the fact that you have to go there Monday morning, like not have that whole
Mhm.
Monday syndrome and just enjoy your life and live your life to the fullest, that has to be something different.
It is. It make your whole life better because that's
Absolutely.
really, that's what you spend your time, your waking time during the
Hmm.
week. The
Hmm.
most of your waking time is spent either on your way to the job, at the job, or on your way from the job.
So somebody contacts you, tell me what that experience is like. They go to your website and they reach out to you.
Well, what happens is we talk and we'll see, what they're doing and what they're already doing for the child and whether what I'm doing will fit with them. So I don't guarantee everything is going to be a fit. And then a lot of the question is, are you willing to work with me?
Yeah.
Because I consider myself as training the trainer.
Mm.
I'm not going to walk with the child for the 5 or 6 years that it takes them to finish high school and get into college, but the parents are. So I'm training all of them together. I'm like a little uh, launch consultant.
Okay.
Okay, because when you're trying to have a launch, you have the flight crew and you have the ground crew.
Yeah.
All right. And if either of those groups says, I can't be bothered anymore, the mission is going to be in jeopardy.
Abort
Okay.
mission. Abort mission.
Really? Come on. Really? You know, flight crew says, I can't be bothered trying to do all this getting ready. I can't. Oh, I don't want to do all this check in stuff and all that. Or the ground crew says, well, shoot, I don't want to get everybody out of your way. I'm tired of trying to get everybody out of your way. Come on. We got to work together. So we
Absolutely.
have to get everything working together. And that's where I come in, is just helping them to lay that foundation, giving the kids the plan and getting the parents in on the plan so that they are all working together on this same plan. So we talk about that a little bit. And the first, I have actually right now 10 sessions that we go through. The first is with the parents. The last is an implementation session where we, give the kids a chance to do it. And the 8 in the middle are all about content, different things that you don't learn in school, but you need them as soon as you start trying to get into the workforce.
Yeah.
So I'm working right now on a family by family basis.
Okay.
It is not cheap because it's a lot of work and a lot of time.
And it's lifetime.
It's a lifetime. Once I work
Yeah.
with you, you've got it. It's not something, it's like, you can't unring a bell.
Yeah.
This stuff, once the kids get it, they go, oh,
Yeah.
I need to be doing, and they
Exactly.
fill in their own blanks. They fill in their own blanks
Like it.
and they start down the road. And the parents say, oh, you're right. And everybody starts marching. And I just wave, okay, y'all have a great trip.
Another launch. Another launch.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. And the
Absolutely.
kids are, they understand that they really don't have so much time for PlayStation and Xbox. They really don't have that much time because they really need to go out and get some experience and see what things look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell them that it's an ice cream shop experience.
Yeah.
All right. You go into the ice cream shop and there are all these options in front of you and you don't know what you want. Oh, look what you could have. You go into the workforce and there are all these options in front of you. Oh, look what you could be. You could be this, you could be that. In the ice cream shop, how do you know what you want? How do you know where you want to put your money down to get that? How do you know, Linda?
You sample.
Exactly. If you don't take a test, that's not good enough because you don't just say, I like strawberries and I like pecans. And somebody says, oh, well, we have strawberry pecan ice cream. Does that mean you're really going to like strawberry pecan ice cream?
No.
No. No. It might be a little weird to you. So you got to taste things. You got to go out and sample. And that's what we're doing, is getting you to go out and sample so that you don't just pick something and get out there and it tastes weird to you. You don't like it. And oh my gosh, I just gave up all this time and money to get to this. And I'm so disgusted.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. Like, how did I get to this? Ugh, this is terrible.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah. But before you get so invested in, like, that's anything, you need to test it to see if it's going to be what you think it is.
And see if it resonates with you.
Yeah.
Would you mind getting up every morning and go to do that? And if you think it would be okay for a couple days, then that's not the career for you. If it'd be okay for a couple days.
This is not what I thought it was. I'm ready to bail out. And so many parents like sports, and especially sports, they invest a lot, or me, it was banned, but they invest a lot of money to get their kids in these positions, right? And then the kid was like, Nah, this is not what I want. Or they're not ready. They're not mature enough to actually take advantage of that situation. I had to learn that the hard way. And
Mm-hmm.
so testing things and getting your kid to try things before you fully invest is a great life-saving, money-saving idea. Is let them try it first to see if it's something they want to do.
Linda, I'm a mother too, and what I was looking at is that the average right now, they say the average in-state tuition, the cost of attending college for a year, is $25,000.
Mm,
Now, some states are more expensive and
right.
some are less. And if you go to private colleges, all of them are pretty much more than
Oh yeah,
25,000.
absolutely.
But if you work with that 25,000 figure, that means 4 years costs you $100,000. Now, here's the thing that is not commonly understood. According to the National Student Clearinghouse, that tracks enrollment everywhere,
Mm.
they say 62% of students graduate in 6 years.
Mm.
So they
Well,
changed the reporting basis.
absolutely.
They're not talking about 4 years anymore.
It's six. And,
That's
and yeah, in 5 and 6 years is generally what it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, which means it's not 100,000 we're talking about.
No.
It's 150,000.
Yeah. It's a house.
But yes,
It's equivalent
but
to a house. Yeah.
but if you do this pre-work, you can do it in 4 years. And I
Yeah.
have a little methodology that I work with for getting them to understand, do the pre-work and work out how to get it done in 4 years.
Yes.
That's saving you 50,000. That's saving you 50,000 in the less expensive schools. There are a lot of schools that cost about 50,000 a
Yeah.
year.
Exactly. You're right. Education is
So
expensive.
it's an expensive proposition, and if you look at it, if you take that long view, you can see that it's worth taking some time, money, and effort to get that 4 year experience to set yourself up for success in 4 years as
Absolutely.
opposed to 6.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely. To get in and get out. Get in, get what you need, and get out.
Right. Get what you
Absolutely.
need while you're there, and you have to know what you need before you go in,
Yeah.
and then you can get yourself out
Absolutely.
with experience. With experience, so that you have some things on your resume is looking better, you have some contacts, you got places. A lot of times first the first job a lot of times is connected to where did you do an internship,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't always get the message about do internships. People go, oh, I'm so busy, I'll learn about that later. From whom?
I know it. I know it. And
Okay.
that's the thing about youth. Youth is fleeting. Like you put it off, and next thing you know, you're 35.
Yeah.
And the next thing you
Yeah.
know, you're 60. And then the next thing you know, you're like, oh, I wish I would have. You have those
Well, and
regrets.
then there's also that proverb, a little rest, a little folding your hands, a little sleep, and poverty will come upon you like a thief in the night,
Exactly.
and scarcity like an armed bandit.
Yeah.
You know, you do all this resting and playing and not quite getting to it and putting it off till later, and all of a sudden the bus left without you. you know,
And it
the
will
train
leave
pulled
without.
out of the station, the flight
Absolutely.
left. You get to stand there and watch the people who did the
Who
thing.
started with you?
Yes.
Who started with you? You get to see them do things that you're like, wow, I could
How'd
have
they
been
get to
this.
do that? How'd they get what?
Yep.
When did they sign up for that? When did they
Yep.
sign up? While you
Yep.
were playing PlayStation.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Well, thank you. As we come to a close, ma'am, I want to give you a minute or two to give whatever you want my audience to take away from this conversation.
Here's the thing I want you to know. Schools are great at academic education. And I don't take anything from that. But not all education you need is academic. If you're a parent, what you can do is sit down and write out a little list of the things you want your child to know before they leave you and work through that list. And you can do that when they're very little. The earlier you do it, the more time you have. You can get them to play an instrument, learn to sing, learn to write. There's cursive writing that's not taught anymore. They can learn your history. You can teach them all kinds of things. Just get some workbooks and you can teach them all kinds of things, and they will become people whom you are proud to know.
I like it.
And I'm wishing you every success and happy parenting.
I like it. My name is Linda Murray Bullard. They call me the business plug. I just tuned you in and plugged you in to the career exploration for students and Tonda T. Bean, who is here to help you. You can reach out to her on her website or via the email address in the discussion session. I'll see you next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Business Plugs Mixer. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a great week. Goodbye.